Good morning, guys. What's up? So, in October, it will be my 2-year anniversary of self-employment. And it is crazy to think it's been that long, but then also it's been like the longest 2 years of my life. So, as I'm preparing to take on year two, I wanted to share some of my experiences with you guys and some of the things I wish I knew before I became self-employed. The first thing is that taxes are different, especially when you are a self-employed individual or an LLC. I filed as an LLC, and a lot of stuff changes when you do that. Um, so it's kind of a balance, right? So my talents are not in like legal tax kind of stuff, and I was trying to DIY it, and it was not working. I literally sat down and cried because I was so overwhelmed. So whenever you become self-employed, you are self-employed, but you might need other people's help. So don't be afraid to reach out to people who are more experienced at things that you know that you are not good at. Know just enough that you know, like you can manage vendors or contractors, but don't be afraid to outsource because that's what business is about. Doing the stuff that you like and outsourcing what you don't. And the second thing, like it's an obvious lesson, but it really hits you hard. And that's if you don't work, you don't get paid. So when you work for other people, when you're employed by someone, typically they give you paid time off or sick leave, stuff like that. Well, there is no PTO really as a self-employed person. I wanted to go on vacation, this past year, and I had to work my butt off to get all of my clients' stuff good to go so I could take like 3 days off or something like that. It was crazy. And then on the flip side, one day I just had this horrible stomach bug, y'all, and but like I still had work that needed to get done. So I would go throw up, clean up, and then come back and write. And it was just so miserable. So you don't get vacation or days off when you're self-employed. You can work to where you get stuff done like ahead of time, but it's not really a day off because people are still emailing you. And I wasn't quite mentally prepared for that, so prepare yourself. The third tip is to diversify. So, as we've seen with coronavirus, one big change is all it takes for you to lose the entirety of your business. So, my rule is never, ever, ever put all of your eggs into one basket. Do not rely on one client for 80% of your business revenue because if you lose that client, you are screwed. So, you always want to make sure that you have a variety, right? So, what I try to do is have several well-paying retainers that go month to month. So that way, if I lose one, well, it's okay because I've got 10 or, something like that. So it's not as dire as if I'm putting all my eggs in one basket and then things don't work out and then your business will suffer. And the fourth thing is that some days you will feel like an absolute loser. And that's the mental load that self-employed people carry. And I don't think we talk about it as much as we should. Some days I feel just fine. I'm confident. I'm trucking through the day. Stuff's getting done. Life's good, right? And then other days, like maybe I lose a client or I got like an unexpected bill or just something happens. And it just makes me feel like a total idiot. And it's really normal to feel this way, actually, especially when you're new to something like self-employment or you're starting a new business venture. Whatever it is, it's normal to feel like you are failing. And sometimes, like, don't get me wrong, it's important to listen to that feeling because maybe you are on a path that's not going to take you to success. So, how do we tell the difference between just feeling down because things are hard and, hey, maybe I should change direction? It's hard to say, but for me, it comes down to looking at the data and then trusting my gut. So, for example, when coronavirus happened and I lost a lot of clients, it was like, oh man, what have I done? This is horrible. But I listened to my gut and I said, you know what? Things are going to change. You're going to be able to weather this. And I looked at my data and it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But in my mind, it was like, what have I done? I've just shot myself in the foot. This is bad. And it's really not, right? So your emotions are important to control whenever you're self-employed. It can really make or break you. So being self-employed is awesome. And then it's also really hard. There's a reason that it's not for everybody. Yeah, it's definitely a valid path, but You have to know what you're getting into. So hopefully these 4 tips will help you guys consider what you might not be thinking about if you are wanting to be self-employed, if you're new to it or if you're considering it. So until next week, keep writing.